Welcome to MGP651. I'm Kev, and with me this week there is Sheepdog and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Anna is not joining us this week because Pabby has exhausted her, so she's having a little bit of a sleep.
Me?
Yeah, you. Mainly you.
Me.
Yeah, you. For those of you not aware, boys and girls, me, Anna and Pab have been living together for the last 2 weeks. And Pab does not sleep, is what we've learned over the last couple of weeks. He wakes up at about 5 a.m. every day, ready for action. And he's still around long after Anna has fallen asleep at the end of the day. So, whereas Anna likes to sleep a good 14 hours a day, I don't think Pab sleeps at all. I saw no evidence. The only evidence I saw in 2 whole weeks of Pab sleeping is when he rested his head on my shoulder on the plane on the way home. But that was only for a moment. Because he refused to wear his neck pillow. He's too cool for a neck pillow. I don't need one of them. My neck is rock solid. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, well, what's that on my shoulder then, Mr. Pab? But yeah, other than that, no evidence that he slept at any point during the 2-week period. So he doesn't sleep. He wears pajamas. I've seen him in his pajamas a lot, but he doesn't sleep in them from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Every time I go to speak and ask about your honeymoon, you talk over me.
No, we had a lovely honeymoon, yes. We had a lovely time. One of my favourite things about it is, as we've been releasing the vlog videos, people speculating on who Pav is, because apparently I can't say Pab clearly enough. It comes across on the vlogs as Pav, and there's been all sorts of speculation as to who Pav is. Are we a throuple? Is he our child? Is my favourite one, is he either mine or Anna's or both of our carers? Is he a personal assistant? Is he a cameraman? And I think the answer is a little of most of those. Describes Pab's role.
Yes.
Which is why I'm not replying to any of them.
I'd already put out on Twitter that you were on your honeymoon as a throuple, but you have raised the point that Pab could give up work and become your joint carer for both of you, and you'd have a quaint little life, wouldn't you?
Oh, he certainly serves a very important purpose. When Anna's sleeping, he keeps me amused so I don't annoy Anna. Although that did break down a little bit about halfway through when I bought a kazoo, because Anna left me unattended in a kazoo shop. So he found it a little bit harder to stop me from disrupting Anna at that point. But he also is quite useful for stopping me getting lost, for helping me find the car.
Yes.
Although can you believe, Sheepdog? He taught me over the course of our 2 weeks that wherever I leave the car, he'll know where it is, so I don't need to remember. And then we went out without him one day to Legoland, and I texted him when we were done, asking him where the car was, and he was like, I don't know. He sent me a picture of wherever he was, which frankly doesn't, based on what he'd taught me up until that point, doesn't seem very fair.
Yeah, no, that's terrible, Pab.
See, the thing is, I genuinely thought for that second, can you not find the car after leaving the hotel? And this was well a few hours after the fact you'd left. I was like, and he just wandered around the car park for 3 hours looking for the car.
I mean, it did take us a while to find, but it took us even longer to find out Legoland. We walked up and down the wrong aisle several times. Bearing in mind, we only had the disabled section to walk up and down. So luckily, thank goodness, Anna had her disabled badge with her, because if not, we'd have had to have walked around that entire car park. At least that allowed us to narrow it down a little bit. But yeah, it's one thing it's one thing I've grown to love about the United States of America, and that is most shops you can park right out the front of, so it's harder to lose the car. It's just when you go somewhere big, you lose the car, because they all look the same. They're all the same black car. Everyone drives the same car there.
How did you find a kazoo shop? Was it just
Pab took me there.
We went to the
Bass
Pro
district
shop.
Yeah, it was his fishing shop. Also sold. It's basically sells fishing rods, guns, and kazoos.
Well, that's how you catch the fish. You shoot the fish, or you serenade it.
Well, I assume it's maybe if you play the right note on the kazoo, it summons a bird for you to shoot or something. I don't know. I don't know the science behind it, but they had kazoos right next to the fried pork rinds. It was, I think I described it on YouTube as the most American shop in the history of the world. They had a bear in it.
Did you? Well, there was two candidates that would compete with that. The place I went to that had just jars of shark fetuses everywhere.
Nice.
That I might have talked about this in the past, but like we had a place we pulled over. We went to Daytona Beach and we were a bit lost, and then a homeless guy started asking us for money, and we stepped into a shop to kind of be like, no, we're all right, sorry, bye. Because my son started talking to him, and then this shop was just like loads of really horrid clothes and shark fetuses in jars and stuff. And so that just sent me even more overwhelmed that I had a right old sort of moment. But yeah, that seemed very American in some ways. But then also with the machine gun rental places, did you go to any of them?
We didn't. However, I will raise you the sign on the way into the fishing shop that requests that if you are carrying a gun or a crossbow, that you submit it at reception on the way in and don't carry it around the shop with you.
Yeah.
So you're going to add the crossbow bit.
Clearly they've had enough people try and get around the gun rule with crossbows that they've had to add crossbows to the sign.
I tell you what I liked, Kev, and you like this, Sheepdog. Me and Kev very gingerly just shuffled past the gun section, and we looked around and went, "Where's Anna gone?" And then she's over the counter leaning in, looking at all the guns.
Oh yeah, she was telling my daughter about this today. Apparently, she found a nice purple one. That's what she was looking at. That we didn't have this piece of information at the time. Oh yeah, it was a really nice purple one. You are describing a gun. But yeah, she picked one out that if she had to have one, that's the one she'll have, the nice purple one that would fit nicely in a handbag. So at least they do them for ladies, which is nice.
Should have been like sticking it up on her scooter just so she's got them all stationed there.
Well, Lucy did say when she was telling her this, Lucy, for the new listeners, my eldest daughter, did reply, well, she is from Nottingham. And yeah, to be fair, hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. She's grown up around all this. She's completely comfortable looking in a gun cabinet. Me and Pab were terrified.
I remember freaking out just seeing someone at the airport guarding something with one, and I just thought this man could just like at any moment decide he doesn't like the look of me. And
literally, the passport control guy had a gun on his belt when we first arrived. That was how we were greeted into America. The guy checking our passports had a gun in a holster on his belt.
It does just feel like a subtle kind of, we could end your life.
Yeah, I get the idea that if they don't like the look of the passport, they just shoot you. That's presumably how that works. Oh no, your passport expires in 4 months.
Maybe.
Yeah, and we didn't get passport stamps. There's no evidence we even went there. So, frankly, what was the point of the whole trip? They didn't stamp our passports.
I've got evidence we went there. The amount of bags that I came home with.
All the balloons you bought, from what I'm told, and seen the pictures of.
Yeah, he is obsessed with balloons. There was one night that I did send you a picture of where he must have bought 30 balloons and had them all tied to his back. That wasn't me. So he looked like the Up House. There's photographic evidence of you with loads of balloons.
I didn't purchase them. The guy that was selling them. The guy that was selling them stood behind me, and they all just kind of blew. I kind of like engulfed me. So
and then he giggled like a schoolgirl because he loved it. Oh, balloons!
I wasn't. I was getting battered around by these. I was like, I'm going to pop these in a minute.
He's such a Scrooge.
Yeah, you'd had one balloon pop, and all the guns would have been firing in your direction.
Yeah.
If they're not his balloons, nobody can have them. It's always been his balloon policy. But yeah,
the Star Wars stuff on May the 4th.
We didn't go. My original plan was to do it on May the 4th, and these two convinced me that was a terrible idea because of how busy it would be. So we went a few days before, and it was busy enough then. Probably of all the 4 Disney parks, I think the busiest area in general was the Star Wars area a couple of days before Star Wars Day. Which, by the way, as someone who isn't into Star Wars at all, that whole area is excellent. I was really, really impressed with that. So impressed that I watched 2 Star Wars films on the plane on the way home. I'm something of a Star Wars expert now.
Yeah. You're anti the word star.
Well, they won me over. You can make your own little robot friend. You know what I'm like with little robot friends. And also these, because I watched episode 1 and episode 2, which I'd never seen before. In all these years, and this goes to every single person listening, because you're all at fault for this. Why did nobody tell me these films are basically 50% Muppets? If you'd have told me how many Muppets were in this, I'd have watched it years ago. I love the Muppets.
Wait.
Like they have whole like bar songs and stuff with them, but this is like one of their main.
You watched the original 3.
I love Ewoks. I remember them. I remember the big furry guy and the big fat lizard monster. I don't remember there being constant Muppet presence throughout, though.
I mean, if you remember the big lizard guy, like his crew are pretty much all Muppets.
It was all Muppets all the time. It was great.
Yeah.
When you were in the Star Wars area, did they just detonate a massive explosive device for no reason? Because they did when I was walking through it. I was enjoying how cool it looked, and then they just set a bomb off randomly. And
I think if they'd have done it when we were there, it wouldn't have been for no reason. It would be to stop me from ever flying one of their ships again, because you man a ship as a 4 or 3 or whatever it is, and you have to designate who's going to do the shooting and who's going to do the flying. And these two clowns put me in charge of flying the plane, and I don't think I'll be welcome back.
Listen, that was a tactical move, because if you're the one doing the controlling of where it goes, that affects your motion sickness, surely.
Yeah, but as I demonstrated very quickly, just because I was flying doesn't mean I was in any control of where it went.
No,
you've all been in a car with me.
Yes, no, I couldn't think of anything that I could say to disagree with that. But no, that being in that area when they set off whatever it was, I still get like a little bit of God from thinking about that, because it was just horrendous. I just was walking along, chatting to my family. Oh look, there's a Muppet over there, and then boom.
When did you go, Sheepdog?
God, it must have been 7 years ago, I want to say.
I don't think Galaxy's Edge was open 7 years ago.
It might not have been whatever that ride is. I'm talking about the area.
No, the area wasn't there 7 years ago.
There was definitely a massive Star Wars space. It was quite new, because it also just opened the. I mean, I don't know what there is now compared to 7 years ago.
Oh yeah, but
sounds like somebody needs to watch my videos, and then you'd have seen exactly what's there now several days ago.
I mean, 2019 sounds. I mean, I've got videos of this online. People can look at that.
People should compare the two and send us notes.
Yeah.
Well, did you
watch
go on
your
the Winnie
video?
the Pooh
Watch my
ride
video.
And have it break down?
The which ride?
The Winnie the Pooh ride broke down, and then I had the whole video of us walking through
I think we did go on the Winnie the Pooh ride. I don't remember it breaking down.
It didn't break down. The longest breakdown we had was the Haunted Mansion. We're in there a couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, that broke
and it started up again.
Yeah. God, that one's like
that breaks down. Even in Paris, that you can't ride that without it stopping at least 4 times. It's just the nature of that ride, I think. Because it's quite a long ride and it has the moving floor. I think the chances of someone coming along who needs that floor to stop while you're on it are quite high every time you go on it. At least the message was in English rather than French, so I understood what was happening for the first time. Rather than just being somebody Frenching me. Yeah, well, they only went on it once. Can you believe that? It was obviously the first ride we went on in the whole fortnight. But they wouldn't let me go back on it.
Because that's like a journey. Like, that's not near the entrance either, is it? So you've made them march quite far.
I mean, they had to. I didn't make them do anything. They had 2 choices. We either go there first, or they put up with me going on about it until we go there. And I presented those options to them, and they chose that option.
It was we're going to It's a Small World. Double back one way to go to Jungle Cruise, then double back to a different ride. We just zigzagged back and forth.
The 3 rides I wanted to do.
Yeah, we just went back and forth for a little bit.
You both knew better than to leave me with a wish list as the day went on, because that's only going to end up in suffering for everybody else when I'm whining. Oh, I don't want to do this. Where's my ride?
You know what surprised me more? Is the fact there wasn't anywhere near as much money to go on it again.
Because I found a better ride. The Donald Duck one is better. No, the Donald Duck one's better. Ride. That's basically It's a Small World with Donald Duck. So that we had to go on that a second time. I
don't remember that one.
It's in Epcot, in the Mexico area. I mean, we had no idea it was there. I feel very much like we stumbled across it by mistake, and it's quite hidden. Obviously, proper Disney World pros probably know all about it, but in the Mexico area in Epcot, you go indoors to this big market area, and then hidden at the back of the market, there's a ride, and it's basically It's a Small World with Donald Duck.
Yeah, no, I don't think I went on that. That's brilliant
because it's hidden.
That Epcot ride, did you go on the one that takes you through history?
Yeah,
yes.
It felt like it had been built like 80 years ago as well.
Yeah. So the history only went up.
It
to
gave
like
me a
one
back
day, man,
adjustment.
So did
I did.
when I went on that with a young Ollie who, as we were getting on, just started pressing buttons. So I sat down and didn't know he'd done this. And then as it's going along, I'm thinking, I don't know what any of this is. Like, it's literally, you show me a bunch of people, I'm having to guess what era it is. This thing in front of me is just talking gibberish. Can't understand a word it's saying. I can't even really hear it. And then at the end of the ride, I said to my wife, like, what was that weird machine about? And she was like, was yours not narrating history to you in English? And I was like, no, it was like really low volume in a foreign language, I guess. So the guy let us go on it again, and it wasn't worth going on a second time. We went around it with English up, volume up, and I was like, oh, okay, actually, I don't really care enough to have done this. But yeah, we did the whole thing with I think like Japanese or something, and it was very confusing. But did you learn anything good?
I learned that if me and Anna have a photograph taken together by an old machine, our size difference is so large that it can only focus on one of us, and Anna is erased from history, and all of the two people photos that we're supposed to be in become single photos of me with Anna not there at all. And then they put those photos on the wall inside Epcot so that you can look at me and the invisible person on the wall in there. So that was the main thing I learned. I didn't hear any of what Judi Dench was waffling on about.
Don't even think it was Judi Dench. I mean, it might have been.
Probably was.
It must have been. I mean,
I'd be very surprised if you tried. Yeah, if you tried to convince me that's been updated since you went, I would be flabbergasted.
That's throwing me that as because I remember it being a man's voice.
Maybe she was a heavy smoker at the time. You never consider that.
I imagine the moment I realised when we got back on the ride that I didn't actually care, I probably just stopped paying attention. I was like, "Well, have I got back on this?" I think Ollie wanted to, and I was like, "Fair enough."
Yeah, I think that ride was the closest I got to suing Disney over the whole trip, because it's so rickety and old that it's basically you're sat in a wooden bench that gets dragged up a hill, and you're dragged up at such an angle that when we were jerked up into the diagonal position, I was basically thrown backwards so that my back kind of wrapped itself around the wooden bench behind me, let out an almighty crack. I think it separated two of my vertebrae from each other. I genuinely still feel a little bit taller than I was when I got on the ride. And it just felt like my back wasn't connected properly for the rest of the day. It was very odd. But I think that was the closest I got to a lawsuit.
So did you do your shooting game that Anna had invited Pab along entirely for? And did you play any other games while you were there?
The shooting game was at Paris. That's why he was invited to Paris.
That's it. I thought there was another one here, though.
Well, the Star Wars one was kind of a bit like that. There was one that I beat these two on, and I can't believe I've forgotten the details. There was a ride, I don't even remember what park it was in, where we had scores, and I beat both of them. I think it was the Buzz Lightyear one. No, it was the Minions one at Universal. So obviously, being a Minions guy, I got the top score on the basically identical version of the Buzz Lightyear ride from Disney. They have a Minions one.
It wasn't
in Universal, but it was just you stand up rather than sitting down, and that was the only difference. It was just a bunch
of screens, and you stood up, and it travelated you around, just shuffled you around.
I mean, he doesn't like it because I beat him at it. They both properly sulked that I beat them.
Oh,
imagine those two being beaten by me at a shooting game.
My score.
I did. They were all on the screen on the way out.
But damn it.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I was the top score of our four because we were color coded.
They're not calibrated correctly, them guns.
I mean, clearly they are. Did you just have a special skill?
They definitely weren't. I adjusted. I mean,
how do you explain my incredible skill at it then?
I imagine you said your eyes shut. You were just shooting randomly.
It was a ride. Why would my eyes be open, Pab? I would feel sick if I opened my eyes.
I know. There's many a picture with just your eyes shut.
Yeah, because they make me sick.
The Guardians one was probably the best.
Well, that one I am still contemplating what action to take against you for that one, because the entire trip, I was explaining every time, because there was quite a few rides that Anna and Pab went on their own. It's another one of Pab's roles. Be me on rides I don't want to go on, so Anna can still go on them and not feel like a loner. So there was quite a few rides, and it was basically anywhere where you have to go backwards or anywhere that's got a lot of simulators. Either of those things make me want to be sick. And they knew this. All week they knew this, but Anna really wanted to ride the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It always had like an 80-minute queue. Pab went on it like 4 times because he likes to get up at 3 a.m. and go and get in the queue. And he kept saying, yeah, it's a really good ride. You should go on this one. Absolutely stitching me up. We ended up paying extra. We bought the Lightning Lane to do this on our last day because we just could not get into a reasonably length queue. So we paid like $20 each so that we could go on it and got strapped into it. And the very first thing it does at the start of the ride is drags you backwards at about 80 miles an hour while this big simulator screen does stuff in front of you. And I immediately had vomit in my mouth and had to spend the rest of the ride with my eyes clamped shut, holding on for dear life. And there's a picture of me from the ride, and I don't look very happy. And he knew that was going to happen. And he let me not only go on it, he encouraged me to go on it and even let me spend real money to do it. I paid $40 for the pleasure of just feeling ill.
You bought the picture, Pab, because that's one to go on the wall.
No, we got pictures. Pictures were included in our pass, so we're good.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you've got it. Excellent.
Yeah, we've got it.
I'm seeing if I can find it to send you now, Sheepdog, and you'll see what these two did to me.
So my rebuttal to this is, I went on it multiple times. First time I went on it, I said it goes backwards, but it is constantly moving you like around, facing you forwards, turning you the other way. It's turning you. Well, if you have your travel sickness tablets, I think you'll probably be okay. Did you have them?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. I rest my case.
It was a long sentence. You can't expect me to listen all the way to the end. You should have led with
you had them for everything.
Sickness tablets.
You took sickness tablets for everything. So why didn't you do it for that?
Because I ran out. Because I took them to go on the bus every day.
You should have told me. I had a full pack.
Funny thing about this picture, as well as the fact that you are so terrified, is that because you and Anna wear similarly shaped glasses and have similarly coloured hair in this picture, you look like you're starting to look more like each other. And the two people behind you being basically identical twins is kind of just making it more that way. The pair of you are starting to become each other.
I'll tell it to shave
okay.
then.
So,
you monster.
Okay then, Kev. How did you feel about the one ride that we did go on in Hogwarts Land?
I'm not going again. You two have ruined this for me. Because again, the Hagrid ride, Universal, whatever it was. It's the big Harry Potter ride that has a massive queue, and all I wanted to do in the Harry Potter area was ride the Hogwarts Express. I didn't want to go on any of the rides. I just wanted to ride the Hogwarts Express because I like trains, and it's quite fun because it takes you from one park to the other, and that seemed like a fun thing to do. We walked past this massive Hagrid ride that had a massive queue, and we're like, no, not going on that. They reluctantly agreed, but then we walked further on, and because Anna was wearing her "It's My Birthday" badge for the 3rd day in a row, a staff member gave us free express tickets to get on it. Bearing in mind, all this is going on during the Champions League semi-final that I'm trying to watch on my phone. So we then go back and join the express queue for this ride, which took an hour. It still took an hour to get through the express queue. It was absurd. But we got to half time in the Champions League final as we got to the front of the queue, and I knew nothing about the ride, so I never had any intention to go on the ride. Went on it, and it was a lot of fun for the first half of it, shooting around mega fast, lots of fast acceleration stuff, but no loops, no simulators, nothing going backwards. And then you get about halfway through, you go up halfway up what feels like it's going to turn into a loop, and then the track just stops, you stop, and then you go and do the whole thing in reverse until it splinters off to get you to a point where it just drops you like Tower of Terror down to the row below.
Yeah.
And I came off that ride looking white as a sheet. Anna spent the last hour just apologizing to me over and over again.
We didn't know. Me and Anna did not know. We weren't planning on going on this ride. We were just given these fast passes, and it seemed silly not to use them when it was like between 60 and 90
I'm
minutes
convinced
for a queue.
we were giving them as a prank. I just think that member of staff didn't like the look of us. Was like, I'll teach them. Look at them getting through here quickly without getting involved in the massive. Because the only place where there's queues in Universal is the Harry Potter area. Look at them avoiding all the queues and going out there where it's quiet and enjoyable and things they actually want to see. I'll show them. I'm going to get them on the torture ride. Hideous.
I mean, I'd have thought twice about it if I'd have known what it did.
Why do rides go backwards? Who likes likes going backwards on rides? I don't understand. I can't go backwards on the bus.
Can't. That's true. He made me swap over multiple times on the Skyliners and on the monorails.
Because I'd throw up.
He'd sit down and I'd go, nope, and it'd start going. He'd make me swap.
See, Pabby, what you need to realise is only having to make you swap in those situations. Sheepdog's sitting there thinking, what a world of luxury Pabby lives in. All he has to do is swap seats with him, and he's no longer refusing to go on stuff powered by other people. Because Sheepdog grew up in a generation where I wouldn't get on the bus and I wouldn't get on a train and I wouldn't go in a taxi.
We didn't grow up together. Keep going. We were grown adults when we met, but still.
He knows full well that me just going on a monorail and going on a Skyliner thing with you, that's luxury that I'm letting you have that luxury.
Cross my mind. Like, I've got in a cab with you, and the fortunate fact that we had Stein glasses in our possession at that moment was the only reason you didn't cover the taxi and vomit.
Yeah, filled that up all the way. Filled it up good.
Different era. I mean, it does feel like long enough ago that we were growing up together.
I'm pretty sure we were children back then. Why else would we be wandering around Birmingham drinking large beers if we weren't children?
No, true.
But yeah, all of this waffle about our trip to America is to cover the fact that we've not played any games during the last 2 weeks. I've actually added it to my list. I've made extensive packing notes because I'm a nerd. And point 3 on my packing list for the next time I go is don't bother bringing your Switch. You won't use it. We were out all day, every day. And on the rare occasions that we did make it back to the hotel at a reasonable time, they have wrestling on every night of the week in America.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've learned that Pab's addicted to Everybody Loves Raymond and would just watch that on a loop. So there was no time for video games because of wrestling and Raymond. So I haven't played anything. I haven't even checked in on my Tomodachi Life since we only got back this afternoon as we're recording this. We dropped Pabby off yesterday, and I think we'll all agree I'm a very safe driver when I haven't slept for 36 hours. But me and Anna decided it was probably best that we stayed in Manchester last night because I was nappish. I went to sleep at about 7 o'clock and slept all the way through till 9 o'clock this morning because we didn't really sleep on the way home. But yeah, we've only got back today, so I haven't touched my Switch. I haven't played a game of any kind other than stuff in parks that could sort of count as games, like when I painted their wagon at the Minions game.
Question for you, Kev.
Hello.
How's Dave and his bowl?
He's not seen it yet because he's being too boisterous and a new bowl will excite him too much. We did spend the whole 2 weeks trying to find him a bowl. So I always buy him a bowl at Disneyland Paris. They don't sell dog bowls in America. I think dogs just eat off the floor in America. Not a single Disney bowl. So I had to buy him a Starbucks one. But he hasn't been presented with it yet because he's being silly.
Okay, yeah. When he's calmed down, he gets a nice gift.
Exactly.
Fair.
But yeah, I've played nothing since last we spoke. I don't know what Pab has done in the 24 hours since we parted. But there's a lot of pressure on you here, Sheepdog, to talk about any games this week.
I have played a new release. I played a game that came out yesterday for us, 12th of May, on all platforms, PS5, Xbox, Switch, and Steam, and Epic, apparently. I got it on the Switch 2 because I want to justify having it more. So anytime I get a chance to ask for a review copy of a game, I'm like, yeah, Switch 2, please. And this one is Nitro Gen Omega or Omega. I don't know how to say that word. Nitro. It's Nitro space Gen. So not nitrogen. Nitro Gen.
Nitrogen
Omega.
Jennifer.
Pab, have you heard of this? Because apparently it was on Steam as an early access game as well. Did he even answer then?
The jet lag kicked in. He's just gone to sleep.
I was muted. I was looking it up. That's why I've muted my mic so you didn't hear my keyboard. But no, I don't think I have.
Cool. Okay. So I got like just an email randomly saying like, hey, we've got this game and it's an RPG and the art style is like anime, sort of older anime. I was going to say Cowboy Bebop, but it's not obviously to that like level of the quality of the artwork in that. But that's not me doing them down. It's just I feel like if I oversold it as a Cowboy Bebop style anime, everyone would then look at it and go, "Oh, okay." But it's along those veins, but with a sort of different style of people. And the idea of the game is that you have you have a crew that is like manning different parts of a mech suit. So you've got like your engineer who's dealing with. Well, mine so far is basically running coolant through it at the end of every go. You've got your gunner who fires your cannon and your missiles and stuff. You've got your person who's moving the mech, and you've got a person who is controlling the scanners and other sort of features that it can do stuff in. So yeah, the idea of the game is that you're flying around the map in your flying sort of ship thing and visiting towns and picking up jobs and helping people along the way. And the battles are turn based, but every time you're in a battle with either like you go to space and there's a robot to fight or whatever, it's like you're told there's like 6 or 7 different points in a battle, and you're told that they're going to do moves in turn 3 and turn 4 or whatever, turn 5, let's say, randomly based on whatever you're fighting. And then you have to decide what each of your 4 mech team members are going to do on the other bits, the other goes, basically. So it's like you can start by saying, right, well, I want to start off by shooting it, and then I immediately want to move across to the other side of the battlefield because it's like a north, south, east, west battlefield divide, and then I want to bring up my shields because I know they're about to attack, and then I want to run my scanner to see what the next move's going to be. And when you run that, when you pick to do that, it tells you what the next nearest move is going to be before you decide what you're going to do. If you put scan next to where you think they're going to attack, it will tell you what they're actually going to do, and then you can base the rest of your moves around that. Or you can, if you don't want to scan, you can throw down a smoke bomb so they can't see you, and you can evade their attack a little bit. And yeah, that's the general premise of the fighting. I can't decide if it sounds simple or sounds complicated, because when I first read it, I thought, oh, that sounds a bit complicated. When I did it, it was really simple. It is literally just a matter of like, you say begin turn, and then you have each of your 4 people. This is what you want to do for their go, and then you just kind of lay their go on the track. Things like protecting yourself because they're going to attack you that'll last 3 goes, but you can also add a go into them. So while you're guarding, you could also have someone releasing coolant to cool the mech down, or reloading the guns and that kind of thing. As you're going through it, you can pick up new parts. So if you pick up, all of the parts so far have been named after types of primates. So like you're in a gorilla mech, and then you can get like, I don't know, like a chimpanzee core that does a bit more things, or legs that will be a bit more robust and flexible and that kind of thing. Or you can get like a more powerful arm so the one that when they guard, they put their arms across the mech so that bullets or whatever are hitting them instead of hitting the middle of it. But you can also instead just tell it to slap the other mech if you're in range of it and stuff like that. So you can upgrade the arms to make them more defensive, more slappy, that kind of thing. You can also upgrade your mech to have things like sonar, so that when you're flying around on the map, you can scan for things that are nearby and follow what's going on. I have been really enjoying it so far. It's been quite cool. The missions that I've been doing, I'm not super far through it, but the missions have been fun. There's a couple of surprising moments sort of early on in the story and that kind of thing. I think my only concern about it, which isn't a huge concern, but it's like from what I can understand, the crew are quite dispensable. It's like it started and it said pick, you can swap out what your crew looks like from these selections of people, and you can swap them for people. But when you're doing the moves, they get more fatigued as you work them, obviously, and they have relationships with each other, and they can be friendly with each other or hate each other and that kind of thing. They have their own personality traits where they might want to work, in their own time. They might want to spend their time alone. They might want to spend it with other people. or they like reading or like gaming or whatever it is. And they're also obviously then proficient in certain roles, like they might be a really good engineer or a really good gunner, but in battle they can be killed, and then you could just hire new people to replace them along the way. So I was kind of like, that makes me feel off the bat like I can't get attached to them, because I'm probably going to lose all 4 of them at one point or another and just replace them with someone else. So I was like, where's the... I mean, I don't fully know yet. There might be one of them that's actually not replaceable or something. I just need to see what happens, I guess. But so far I've avoided death, but I am sort of apprehensive, thinking, is there because there is an Iron Man mode where you could just have it that once they're dead, and it's all no saves in that, but I'm not going to jump into that, obviously.
No.
Yeah, but it's been really cool. It's been really fun. As I say, it's on literally everything. The premise is that it's like the world has been wiped out by ironically a rogue AI. So it's kind of the way we're heading. You could be looking into your own future. So they're what's left of humanity, and everyone's kind of just doing odd jobs and getting paid in marbles, and then spending those marbles to help them survive. But the world seems to be getting worse, and they are hoping they can kind of scrap together enough mech pieces to become some sort of resistance to the robots, and hopefully overcome it and save the world. And yeah, it's a cool premise. It looked cool. I just feel like it's worth checking out. It's on everything, as I say. I was trying to see if there was a price listed here anywhere, but did you see a price when you looked it up at all?
Hold on, I've just literally tabbed out. Hang on.
I suddenly thought I should
again. Have a look again, don't worry.
It's got a good rating on Steam, though.
20
9 out of
quid.
10. 20 quid, that's not too shabby at all. Yeah, it's worth that.
20 English pounds.
As I say, it's on the Switch, so I'm sort of playing it on the sofa, just chilling. Since saying however many weeks ago that I don't really play handheld mode, I feel like I've only played handheld mode.
It's the correct way to use it.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm really, really into just laying there and doing that now. I am also finding it quite funny that I've been playing Legends ZA, and I don't know how I feel, right? Because am I enjoying it? I'm playing it a lot. I don't really know what I think of it, because it's quite repetitive. Like, I'm doing the DLC, and it's very much like, okay, there's these holes everywhere, and if you give Hooper a donut, you'll go into that hole, and there'll be Pokemon in there, and you can try and catch them, and you've got like a 6-minute timer or whatever. Depending on how good your donut was, you've got that much time to run around and catch the Pokemon. But also, similar to how they had the battle points that you had to pick up, and once you got to 50,000 points, you got to rank up. This has like hyperspace research, and once you've maxed out the hyperspace research, you can then progress with the story. So it'll be saying to you, you're in hyperspace, try and find 3 different Pokemon, try and find 5 of these floating Pokeballs that are in there full of stuff, and maybe try and catch a Pokemon without being seen, something like that. And if you do all of those things, then it will say like, oh, there's a golden Pokeball in the area, go and hit that. And so you do all that, and then you get enough points that you have either leveled it up, or you just need to do a couple more to level it up. But so each time it's like you leave because you've hit the score to max that out, and it says like, oh, you've had a phone call from the same person each of the times, go talk to them for an update, now go back to doing this boss that's appeared, then go back and start building more donuts, now go back into the hyperspace and try and repeat the same tasks that you did before, but for different Pokemon, or the introduced battles at one point there. And then it's like, oh, now there's a boss again, now you got to go back and do. So on that side of it, it just feels very, I don't know, like my problem with the whole game is the story feels very phoned in, and very, very, like, I know that Pokemon people tend to not say it is big on story in their main games, but this just feels very loose and like, yeah. But at the same time, I am enjoying just chilling and catching the stuff and filling up the decks. And the main reason I was doing it was because they announced that you could get the shiny Volcanion if you complete the Pokedex. And I had nearly completed one of them, and now I have. I just need to catch like, I don't know, another 50-ish Pokemon in this DLC, and then I'm done. and I can put it to bed. But my original like complaint with it, I think I'd given it like a 2 out of 10 on some review site, and I'm thinking I could probably knock it up to a 4. It's still not anywhere near as good as I would have hoped it would be, but the DLC did improve it, and I feel like that's always the case with them. But it's just a shame that they save the salvation for that. I'm probably lucky that my son got it and I was able to then borrow it, because if he hadn't, or it was the old era where you couldn't really borrow the DLC, I probably would just never have played this. But I don't know, I wouldn't have missed that much. It was just, it's all right. And yeah, that is other than Balatro, which I finally completed. I've completed the red tier levels and the yellow tier, and then I've just got mismatched scores on all the others. But I'm sort of, I've got it in my head I'm going to 100% that one day, and I probably won't, but I am enjoying trying. So yeah, that's my lot.
Okay. Well, like Kev said, we've barely done a lot of gaming. I'm trying to think if we did anything in the parks. We didn't even go in we looked around the arcade. We threatened a game of certain
yeah,
things,
but then you confirmed you would cheat at it, so we decided not to do the arcade.
Yeah, I'd actually try and win rather than just letting Kev win.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah. We never really got on the arcade stuff. Kind of gets away from us, to be honest with you. The holiday kind of just got away from us. Things just didn't happen. Like gaming, I found barely happened at all. The only reason I played,
you bought a whole special games console just to take with you, and you never touched it.
I never even opened it. Never even opened it. And I wished I had, because I've just looked today, and I bought a Steam game that played well on the 4 to like I say, I was like, I'm going to play this when I get it. Just didn't even cross my mind.
Too distracted by Everybody Loves Raymond.
It wasn't just Everybody Loves Raymond. Just that Raymond was on in the evening. But like, it was weird because they put blocks on of like 4-hour blocks of Raymond, and then 4-hour blocks of Friends, or 4-hour blocks of The Office.
The only show I hate more than Everybody Loves Raymond is The Middle, I think. So it sounds like my idea of hell that they had Everyone Loves Raymond.
Yeah,
that's one of those programs.
I like it.
Anna loves The Middle. She has that on all the time.
It's so bad. You know how Scrubs always has a moral at the end of every episode where it's like, sometimes you can do everything right and you lose. The Middle tries to do that, but nothing about the moral that happened in the episode, and it's just badly written tripe. It's such a bad program.
Well, that's what happens when you take the villain from Scrubs and make him the star.
I just feel like it's one of those where it's more derivative than it rips off Malcolm in the Middle, and terrible. It makes me feel uncomfortable even thinking about it. I hate that show. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, no, I don't know what I was saying.
You were trying to convince Sheepdog to watch The Middle.
Oh no, I did what I watched the whole first season of Veep on the plane, which I enjoyed.
Of what? Sorry,
Veep.
I thought you said Beef, which I'd been watching, but Veep. What the hell's Veep?
Veep is the. Do you have a bit of thick of it?
Yes.
It's basically the American version of it, made by the same guy who did the thick of it, and it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld as the vice president.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of this.
It was very good. It's very good. So I watched all of that on the plane. This is
what you were wasting your time doing while I was watching the Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem TV show. I see. I was catching up on some quality Muppets television.
Yeah, there you go.
While we're on this new segment of TV stuff, I have finished all 10 seasons of Stargate. And that didn't take me very long at all. I feel like it consumed my life. It got to the point where my wife was just going, "You can put Stargate on if you like," in the evening when it was a bit of a lull or whatever, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I will." Just sit there for ages. But now I'm sort of scrapping around watching the spin-offs and stuff like that, because there's a hole in my life. But yeah, no, I'll check out Veep. Is it on Netflix?
I don't know. I've not seen it anywhere. I just happened because it was on the plane.
Okay.
I just found it in their plane's library of stuff to watch. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to look it up at a later point. Probably get it off Amazon at some point, maybe in a sale. I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up now. I hope it's available now, so we're disappointed. Anyway, saying all that, a new game did come out last week. Mixtape. I played it. I finished it today. Took me. I want to. It's hard to say. I want to say between 4 and 5 hours, maybe. It is one of them games that is probably going to be talked about at the end of the year. I suspect it's well worth playing. It is a game. What is it like? I thought about this earlier on today, and I couldn't put a. Maybe a little bit Life is Strange, like in the style of gameplay. You know what I mean? Like third person, kind of wandering around like an area, prompting dialogue. It's that sort of game. It's very much. I feel like it could be a Kev game, probably a Sheepdog game as well.
I should investigate.
Yeah, it is very much a teen comedy drama sort of thing where the story is you're playing like it is the last night before the kids go the separate ways sort of thing. So one's going to New York, one's going to California, and one's staying put, I think, or something like that. So it's 3 friends, and it's set in like I want to say early to mid 90s. I want to say I initially started playing it, and I thought this is like an 80s film. This is like Breakfast Club, like Ferris Bueller. It's a little bit of that.
Yeah, so I saw this recently and I've heard of it, but I am wondering now whether like isn't there a film out relatively recently where it's like friends have to fight to keep hold of their youth or something like is it that kind of theme? Like I was reading a bit there and this is what you were saying. It's like they're remembering the pivotal moments in their life and their friendship.
Yes, it is that, but they're like little vignettes to like a story that they're living. They are pretty much their last day planning to go to a party that they're going to in the evening before, like the day after. Like one, like I say, one's going to New York, one's going to California, sort of thing. So they're kind of all going the separate ways, sort of thing. And it's all like held together by a soundtrack. It's a sound. It's just a like every single time. Like it's just the main protagonist of the game will like occasionally just like turn to camera and just fourth wall like straight down the camera and go, this is whatever it is by whoever. I don't know. I've literally just bringing the players.
It's not very helpful, is it? Just be less vague.
This is all right. They say like what Atmosphere by Joy Division.
Character, sorry, yeah.
The Cure, Jesus and Mary Chain, Stan Bush, Portishead, Iggy Pop, Smashing Pumpkins, Roxy Music. It's all like 80s, early 90s music, and it just sets the tone for the game.
Of mine and Kev's youth, where we grew up.
No, I was just thinking this is all before my time. Everything you're describing there, I'm far too young for all this.
Yeah, it's just a really good game where you are just wandering around, prompting dialogue by clicking on things, like you say, Life is Strange, and maybe I suppose a little bit Walking Dead. And then you have like little vignette mini games of certain like this, like you said, Sheepdog. There's like certain points, and it remembers like certain parts of like a story or something, and it goes to that, and then it's like a mini game involved with that. One involves like someone's first kiss, and then you're controlling 2 tongues, like you see like a silhouette of 2 mouths, like 2 faces, and then just imagine you're controlling the 2 tongues with 2 analog sticks. Just stuff like that. It's lots of fun little vignettes like that. It's funny, very heartfelt. And yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's like between what this is now. And what we're in now, May. We're nearly halfway through the year now, and there's a good chance it's 1 or 2 right now. That game, Mixtape is probably 1 or 2. Can't say whether it's more or less than Resident Evil. It's probably more in my wheelhouse than Resident Evil is, so it might pip it because of that. But yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think it was about 15 quid. It's from people Beethoven Dinosaur, who made The Artful Escape a few years ago. I think it was 2022, 23. I don't know, but I love that game as well. That was a great one. If you've not played that, have a look for that, because that is probably dirt cheap everywhere now. But it's very good. And this one is, yeah, like I say, just well worth a playthrough. If you like those sort of like old 80s style, you know, comics movies that are like say Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, any others that come to mind like that, Sheepdog. I'm trying to think now. What are them films?
Oh God, I mean, no, I a few of the ones I was going to say, I'm like, no, they're not really about friends coming of age.
I can't. It's just,
I'm
drawing
drawing
a blank now, but yeah,
it is a coming of age story.
Yeah, it is, and it is just a very good one of those. It's very good. Doesn't overstay its welcome. Like I say, it's not. It doesn't like get tedious. Like I say, it's done in let's say top end of 5 hours. I don't think it was that, but like I say, 4 or 5 hours, and it's well worth a play. Like I say, I started that when we were in Florida. I finished it today. So like I say, that's why my timings are a bit all over the place, because the last few days have been a whirlwind, like getting back. So it's I've just not quite nailed down the time. But yeah, the other thing I did play while I was out there, which worked wonders at trying to get me to sleep at night, was a game about digging a hole. Have you heard of this?
What is wrong with you, sir?
Have you played that? You must have heard it.
No, obviously not.
No, Sheepdog?
No, the name wouldn't have enticed me in.
A game about digging a hole. So, prompt is you buy a house. Very loose premise. You buy a house on the premise that on the notion that there is a treasure in your backyard, and you just have a shovel and you start digging. You start digging, and you have an energy bar on the side. Oh, it's not an energy bar. It's a battery meter for your.
I thought you meant energy bar like food. And
No, I thought it was. I was just trying to think if it was. It wasn't an energy bar for food. It's a battery.
You did mean energy bar. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's a battery. it's like how much battery you have in your electric shovel or whatever the hell nonsense they're trying to tell you of, right? So you have a shovel, and it has, like I say, it has a meter on it, so it goes down. If you run out of meter, you just kind of reset at the top, but you lose all the things you collect. So you pick up items from the dirt, like materials, stone, coal, gravel, all these things. And when you come out of the hole, you go to the computer that's there, and you sell it all. And with that money, you can then buy upgrades. You can buy a better shovel. You can buy more storage for your backpack. You can buy, like, basically, you pay to recharge the shovel. That's the lowest one. That's like $2 to do every time, just to recharge the shovel. You can buy a bigger battery on it. You can, like I say, you can do all these upgrades, and then you're digging further and further down. And then you find other things. You find certain things going on. I've not found much because, like I say, I haven't played a ton of it, because it is impeccable at sending me off to sleep at night. When I had a long day in the parks, it worked wonders for me getting sleep. So I've probably only put about an hour into this realistically, but I've enjoyed what I played. I also bought another game similar to this. I'm just looking it up now. I saw somebody else playing this. Where is it now? There it is. Prison Escape Simulator, which works on a similar premise where you have a shovel and you have to dig your way down out of prison.
Do you want us to just get you a shovel?
I've got them. I've got several.
I've got one. I mean, if this had been about a man who's trying to convince his wife to let him build a bunker in the back garden, that would have been up my street, because I've been trying to.
I mean, there's probably someone making that game after this. Because
I said to her, like, if I ever come into, so I found a company that will build one for about 30 grand, and I was like, you wait. So one day,
that seems low.
Well, I think that is the money for them to hollow out your garden.
How much do you want to dig a big hole in his garden, Pabby? I assume you'd do it for free.
Like 30 grand feels like you're just getting a shoddy hole.
Well, I think the idea is once they've dug the hole, they then put some sort of, 4 walls, a roof, and a floor, and then a couple of tubes up to the surface to give it oxygen, and then they just bury it again, put a bit of dirt down and a bit of grass down, and then they're like, right, you've got a walkway to it, crack on from there. This was like starting at 30 grand.
Right. Okay.
We'll see. One day.
Yeah. This sounds like it's just the tip of the iceberg, 30 grand before you have to start.
Probably, but weirdly, I discovered after I brought this up, and then someone heard me talking about it at one point or another. I live like 5 miles away from a man who did this as a YouTube series, and he built a whole bunker in his garden.
I brought this up when you mentioned it. The guy in Stamford.
The first person. You're right. He's in Stamford, and apparently he did this. So I might have to find him, and just say, how do I go about following in your footsteps?
The weirdest thing about him, if you've not seen his videos, I forget what his name is, but he just lives in a normal house in a normal housing estate. It's not like he's in a big fancy country house in the middle of nowhere. He's got like neighbors either side of him, and he's dug it under the front of his house. It's basically it's under where his driveway would be. It's bizarre how little space he had to work with to then make it happen. I don't know how he got planning permission for it on a normal housing estate, but yeah, it's fascinating. I'll have to I can't remember his name.
He probably asked for forgiveness afterwards, right?
Yeah,
but go on, Pappy. You were saying.
Anyway, yeah, but I don't have much more else to say about it. Like I say, I'm going to chip away at this game now. This is going to be the game that I just occasionally, if I can't get to sleep, I will kind of put this game on.
Colin Furs is his name for anyone who wants to look him up. Colin Furs.
There you go. Now everyone's suddenly pausing and Googling.
Yeah.
Whatever this is.
It is interesting. It's bananas. And he does it all wearing a tie as well, which I find particularly endearing.
There's as well as him, because he's obviously an idol in this ambition, and then there's also a lady on TikTok who is building a mine under her house, and with the stuff that she mines out from underneath her house, she's building a castle. So she has been investing in engineering equipment and is properly going mad with it in terms of like she builds all these pulleys and things and blah blah blah, and she then will go out and just start smashing mounds of rocks into bricks, and I'm just like, these people are living life to the full. They're seeing how far they can go. It's amazing.
There you go. Anyway, I from what I gather, there's some things in this game that, let's say, it might go certain places. I don't know, but it also seems like it's not a massive game that's going to take tons of hours. Yeah, the other game that I did purchase with the intent of me playing was Titanium Court, which I did bring up when the last Steam demo, whatever it is, Next Fest was. When there was a load of demos out, I played that and I enjoyed it. I got it. It plays perfectly fine on the AYN4, so I didn't get to it. So I might have some more stuff on that next week. And yeah, we'll have more stuff next week. Anna should be back next week.
She should.
And the new Forza's out next week. So we'll have that probably. And then the week after that is the new James Bond game. So games are coming out again.
Never heard of him.
And Saros came out while we were away, and I might get to that at some point as well. But like I say, it's piling up now, so who knows? But yeah, that's a lot from me.
Well, in that case, boys and girls, we will wrap things up there. If you'd like to pester us on the internet, you can do that at Mgukpodcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
And you can find me at Sheepdog6K.
And I'm at Pab1986.
And we'll see you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening, folks.